The morning Marjorie Whittaker called the sheriff on me for fencing off what she called her shortcut through my own backyard, the entire Crestview Lake Estate's new drama was about to explode like a powder keg in khakis. This wasn't just a property spat. It was the moment a control-obsessed HOA queen started digging the very grave that would bury her $38,000 embezzlement scheme in front of everyone she'd ever bullied. I'm Ryan Caldwell. After 24 years drawing property lines and exposing zoning scams up and down the West Coast, I retired to this postcard-perfect slice of Northern California foothills for one reason: peace. Crystal Lake, morning mist, the kind of quiet where you can finally fix up that old wooden skiff without someone measuring your grass to the millimeter. My corner lot gave me direct lake frontage, something the realtor forgot to mention came with an unofficial footpath that certain board members treated like their private red carpet. Marjorie Whittaker, board president, self-proclaimed protector of community harmony, was the worst offender. 50-something, always in spotless khakis and a visor that screamed, "I've never been wrong in my life." She power-walked straight through my tomatoes at 7:15 sharp every single morning. For weeks I watched from the kitchen window, coffee in hand, as she trampled my flowers like they owed her money. One Saturday I finally had enough. I built a clean cedar fence, installed a simple gate, and planted 2 bright, private property, no trespassing signs. She showed up the next dawn like an avenging angel in yoga pants. "Mr. Caldwell, this is unacceptable. You are obstructing established community access. Section 7.3 of the covenants is crystal clear." I set my hammer down and smiled the way only a man who's read every covenant ever written can smile. Section 7.3 doesn't override my recorded deed, Marjorie. No easement exists. Walk the public trail like normal people. It adds 90 seconds to your daily sermon on rules. Her face turned the color of her HOA polo. You will hear from legal. People who put themselves above the neighborhood always do. 48 hours later, a sheriff's deputy was on my porch while I was watering tomatoes. "Complained about illegal obstruction of common area, sir." I laughed so hard I almost dropped the hose. "Deputy, pull the parcel map. Every inch inside that fence is mine." He checked, nodded, and actually apologized. Between us, these HOA calls waste more gas than anything else. "Have a good one." Marjorie answered with a certified $950 fine for unauthorized barrier. No hearing, no discussion, just pay or face a lien on my house. That was her first mistake. I spent 3 straight days buried in county archives, pulling original plats, bylaws, and every amendment since 1987. Surprise, 0 recorded easement, 0 shared access, nothing but decades of entitled footprints. Instead of yelling, I played the long game the way only someone who used to approve these scams for a living knows how. My land use attorney buddy helped me petition the county to designate a narrow private permissive access corridor across my property. They approved it in writing. 1 month later, I installed a sleek keypad gate with a small digital reader. The sign above it read, "Private corridor to lake, $8 single use or $40 monthly. All proceeds go to the Crestview Wildlife Preserve." Every cent would be public record and donated. The morning after install, I sat on my porch with an espresso, feet up, watching the show. Marjorie rolled up in her golf cart like she was storming Omaha Beach. She punched the keypad like it had personally insulted her ancestors. When it politely beeped "access denied, please pay or use public trail," she detonated. "This is extortion. This is commercial activity on residential land. You are destroying the spirit of this community." I didn't even stand. "Pay the $8 or walk the extra distance, Marjorie. Both options are perfectly legal, perfectly documented, and perfectly recorded on the 4 cameras you're currently starring in. Your move." Her cease and desist letter arrived 2 days later, citing outdated zoning that had been revised 6 years ago. I didn't answer the lawyer. Instead, I printed flyers, bought 3 dozen donuts and 2 urns of coffee, and turned the county zoning clarification hearing into the best-attended event in Crestview history. The room was packed. Marjorie stood up, voice trembling with righteous fury. "This man has monetized our shared lake access for personal profit." The zoning officer adjusted his glasses, flipped through my packet, and delivered the verdict everyone felt coming. "Mr. Caldwell's permits are in full compliance. The access is private. No violations. Meeting adjourned." The applause started in the back and rolled forward like a wave. Marjorie sat down so hard her visor nearly flew off. She wasn't done being stupid. 3 nights later, my cameras caught everything in 4K glory. A hooded figure with a very recognizable limp. The same old tennis injury she bragged about at every board meeting. Snipping my gate wires at 2:47 a.m. bolt cutters, HOA windbreaker, the whole villain starter pack. I walked the footage straight to the sheriff. They brought her in for questioning. She claimed she was asleep in bed watching her stories. The limp, the height, the monogram jacket said otherwise. Charges: trespassing, vandalism, criminal mischief. The board started melting faster than ice cream in July. Vice President Phillip, a nervous accountant who'd never raised his voice above a whisper, showed up at my door practically vibrating. We never supported the shortcut thing. She just steamrolled everyone. Then maybe vote for someone who won't, I said. The recall meeting was standing room only. When I quietly mentioned I'd noticed some very creative landscaping invoices during my earlier research, payments to Summit View Services, a company registered to Marjorie Whittaker's personal address, for work nobody had ever seen, the room went dead silent. Then it exploded. Within 72 hours, state investigators were crawling all over the HOA books. Turns out Marjorie had been funneling $38,000 through her shell company over 2 years. Fake invoices for mowing, planting, and lake maintenance that never happened. 2 other longtime board members had signed off for kickbacks. The money that should have fixed the pool or replaced the dock lights had gone straight into her vacation fund. Marjorie was arrested at her condo in yoga pants and handcuffs. The local paper ran the mugshot with the headline, HOA President's Shortcut to Jail. She took a plea, full restitution, 5 years probation, and a lifetime ban from serving on any homeowners association in California. Last I heard, she moved in with her sister in Arizona, far from any lake. The new board, led by no-nonsense teacher Denise Ramirez, moved fast. Annual independent audits became mandatory. Term limits passed. Petty fines for holiday lights 2 days late, or bird feeder too colorful, disappeared overnight. They even repealed the rule that once banned solar panels because they didn't match the 1980s aesthetic. I kept the gate, but removed the payment system. It now reads private property, guests welcome with permission. Neighborhood kids knock politely when they want to fish. I almost always say yes. People wave instead of pretending they don't see me. One neighbor planted bright purple flowers for the first time in 12 years and told me, "I finally feel like this is my yard again." Sitting on my deck these days, watching the sun paint the lake gold, while I sand that old skiff, the air feels lighter. The neighborhood isn't just quieter, it's freer. Turns out the loudest tyrant can't stand when the rest of the community finally stands up. True or false? The real power abuser wasn't the homeowner who installed a legal gate on his own land, but the HOA president who used protecting the community as cover while robbing it blind. Who really deserved the ultimate karma? Drop your vote in the comments. I'm reading every single one.